When the Kindle Scribe came out late last year, I had a really hard time recommending it to anyone. This device just felt way too big for reading, and all the note-taking features felt half-baked and left a lot to be desired. Basically, the device was really cool, the hardware seemed really awesome, but I really didn't know what the purpose of it was. Now that it's been a full year since the Kindle Scribe first came out, I have some new opinions about it. Amazon put in a ton of work over the past 12 months, releasing a barrage of software updates. Some of them were small updates with quality of life improvements, but they also released some pretty major updates as well that changed the entire functionality of the device. Today I want to share with you my updated thoughts on the Kindle Scribe and whether or not it's worth buying compared to a year ago. And I have three main points that I want to get across. The first one is about the 10-inch screen size. Now, if you ask me, I really do feel the Kindle Scribe is very awkwardly sized. I genuinely thought having a larger screen would be a lot more fun for reading, but that was not my experience, and it has not been my experience for the past year. I was really hoping as I use the device more, that would change, but that is one area where my opinion still is the same from last year. I just feel this device is a bit too big for reading. Now, unlike my other Kindles, I really do have to use two hands to hold the Kindle Scribe comfortably. If I use one hand, I can do it, but not for a long period of time. I end up getting pretty exhausted by having to do that, and I change positions pretty often. Now, say you aren't even using the Scribe for reading and you only use it for the note-taking abilities, I still think the larger screen is going to pose an issue for you. I can really only use this device comfortably for note-taking when I have a flat surface to put it down on. I cannot really use it in the most ideal way while traveling out and about or in my lap. It just works best when it's on a flat table or something like that. Now, everything I'm saying right now is completely up for debate. I've had a ton of people reach out and tell me that the screen size of the Kindle Scribe is perfect for them, especially if you need to use a larger font size, or perhaps you have a lot of technical documents with charts and things like that. Having a bigger screen is perfect for that. But again, in my personal view, for the average bookworm, if you're just focusing on reading, this device is too big. I really do hope Amazon comes out with the Scribe Mini at either 7 or 8 inches. I think that would be the perfect screen size for both reading and note-taking. Right now, at 10 inches, this device just does not feel very portable. Carrying it around the house or bringing it with me in my backpack is a bit more of a hassle. I've never felt that way about any of my other Kindles. This Scribe is just a bit too big. Now, before moving on to my second point, I do want to mention that a lot of people end up buying the Kindle Scribe because it's the most premium Kindle, and they have this mindset that if they spend more money on a Kindle and buy the best one, they can read more books. And I have to tell you, that is the farthest thing from the truth. Buying the most expensive Kindle is not going to make any difference for your reading habit. Now, if your goal is to genuinely read more books and just build that reading habit, I want to recommend that you join a book club. I actually have my own book club if you want to read some nonfiction books. It's called Presently Reading. I read a new nonfiction book every single month alongside a community of over 1,000 bookworms from around the world. If you want some extra accountability and have some fun conversations with me about the books that we're reading, I highly encourage you to check it out. It's completely free and it's a great way to build that reading habit. Link down below for more information. Moving right along, even though my thoughts on the screen size of the Kindle Scribe have not changed much over the past year, there is one area where my thoughts have changed quite a bit, and that is using the Kindle Scribe as a pen and paper notebook replacement and basically all-around productivity device. Now, when the Scribe first came out, there was a notebook feature built into the software, but it was extremely bare bones and there wasn't much you can do with it. You could open the notebook, draw, write things, and do all that basic stuff, but after that, you were basically stuck. All you could really do is export it as a PDF, and that was it. When you compare that to today, it's a completely different experience, and if you're a techie person like me, I genuinely feel the Scribe is a very viable option to replace all your notebooks and pens. The first game-changing feature that came out over the past year is the ability to export your notebooks and have them automatically transcribed into digital text. The reason why this is so important is because you can simply use your Kindle Scribe as an input device export the notes, and then have them transcribed for you, and you could copy and paste your notes into any other note-taking app on your computer. This opens up a world of possibilities, just being able to handwrite something and very easily have that converted into regular digital text can be used for so many different purposes, especially if you're working or you're a student. I can see so many different ways of using that feature. Now, the second major update that happened over the past year is the ability to access your Kindle Scribe notebooks on all your other devices. Now, the only place you can actually edit the notebooks is on the Kindle Scribe itself, but the ability to view the notebooks on your computer or your phone on the Kindle app makes such a big difference because you have access to those notes anywhere you go. My personal use case of the Kindle Scribe is to use it as my notebook for anything. I just jot down notes throughout the day whenever I have ideas or I'm reading a book and something comes to mind, and when I handwrite something, I put the notes on my Kindle Scribe, and then during my weekly review, I go into my Kindle app on the computer and I can easily access all those notebooks that I've edited over the past week and then use those notes to update my calendar or my other note-taking apps, whatever I want to do. I have all those notes very easily accessible, even though my Scribe is not next to me. Between those two features alone, there's so much you can do with the Scribe that you couldn't do when the Scribe first came out, so I'm very happy with those updates. But on top of that, they've released a ton of smaller updates. For example, you can now go in and reorder the pages of your notebook. You can copy and paste things between notebooks. You can even do bulk edits now. All of this stuff was not available when the Scribe first came out, but now it is. Now, even with these enhancements, I do feel the Scribe is still falling short in a few specific areas, and it kind of blows my mind that these things haven't been addressed yet. The first one is not being able to mark up the books that you buy directly from the Kindle store. What I mean by that is if you want to take handwritten notes on a book, the way you have to do that right now is by using the sticky note feature or by highlighting something and adding a note attached to the highlight, but you can't write directly on the page of any Kindle book that you buy. Now, funny enough, if you buy books elsewhere on the internet and then load them onto your Kindle as a personal document, or say you have PDFs already that you want to mark up, you can mark up those documents just fine, which is so strange to me because if I buy the book outside of Amazon and load it onto my Kindle Scribe, I can use the markup features. But if I buy the book directly from the Kindle store, I don't have access to that. Now, to be fair, there is a new part of the Kindle store that came out a few months ago that is dedicated to Scribe-only books, which means you can download them to your Kindle Scribe and write on them the way I'm describing. But those are basically like crossword puzzles or journals, very specific type of books. You can't buy any old nonfiction book, for example, off of Amazon and then write on it directly on the Kindle Scribe. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. Now, let's just say, for example, it doesn't bother you at all. You have no problem using the standard sticky note feature on the Kindle Scribe to take notes while you're reading a book. The next thing that I find to be very frustrating is there's no way to automatically transcribe those sticky notes into digital text. The reason why I find this to be important is because when you do transcribe that into regular text, you can sync your notes to other services. I rely very heavily on an app called Readwise to sync all my Kindle notes into one repository so I can then review them regularly. But with these Kindle Scribe notes, they end up being images, which are not supported right now, and it just turns into a much more messy repository. I just want to have all my notes in one format of regular text. Now, when you add it all up, I really think Amazon is missing a huge opportunity here. It seems like they're targeting the Scribe as a productivity tool with the notebook features. And don't get me wrong, I think those are really cool. But if you're going to call this device a Kindle, it should be a bookworm-friendly device first. Besides the bigger screen, I don't really see any other benefit for bookworms to be buying the Kindle Scribe. You really have to be taking full advantage of those note-taking features if you want to get the most out of this thing. If you want to learn more about the Kindle Scribe and about some of the features that are specifically on this device, I have a whole video dedicated to my favorite tips and tricks and features of the Kindle Scribe. I'll link for that on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.